What's going on, guys? Austin Zaback here with another video. Today we have a very special guest, okay? We have somebody that I actually have the honor and privilege of actually coming to their home and sitting down and really, hearing their story on how they got to where they're at, okay? This special person in 2019 went from $100 million in real estate production, okay, them and their team, to $183 million in 2020. Now remember, guys, 2020 was in the middle of a pandemic, okay? 373 homes sold, and in 2021, they're on track to do way bigger numbers than that, already at 185 homes sold at almost 100 million, coming in at right around just 90 million so far in 2021, okay? In this podcast, I really want to peel back the onion a little bit of how this special individual got to where they're at. And let's just go ahead and bring him on. So it is Jennifer Wehner. Jennifer, I really appreciate you being here, and I appreciate you allowing me to come into your home and just to chat with you a little bit.
Well, Austin, honestly, the pleasure is mine. The fact that you had faith to join us, our partnering up. And I've been so, inspired by you and your story. The fact that you got your start so young, so ambitious, so driven. And so likewise. Yeah,
that's awesome. Well, I really appreciate that. It means the world to me. It means the world when I'm able to connect with people that think in a similar aspect than I do. And I really feel like you are somebody that I've gotten to have more in-depth conversations with over the last couple of months. I've always seen you from afar, right? Yeah. We've connected for several years. We talked a few years back. I came to your office, and the more that I sit down with you and the more that we have conversations, it is truly, I'm learning, right? I mean, I'm sitting here literally before the podcast, taking notes on your story. And in all reality, I'm going to go back and I'm going to reread this and re-listen to this stuff too. So I'm just excited to share all of this with everybody that's watching right now. It's going to be a ton of fun. So let's peel back the onion a little bit, Jennifer.
Yeah,
Obviously,
I love peeling the onion.
Me too.
Let's get real. Let's get vulnerable,
authentic.
And let's talk about the crap. Let's talk about the failures, because what everybody wants to focus on is the highlights. Mm-hmm. Now, a little bit about me and my story is that it goes a lot deeper than being a real estate agent. I am a polymath. And if you guys know what that is, I'm interested in a lot of different subjects. Just commissioned my first art painting behind me. I'm just
beautiful, by the way.
Obsessed with Leonardo da Vinci. Archaeology, quantum physics, neuroscience, biohacking, autophagy. I have 4 kids. I could tell you how to get rid of all of the extra skin without any plastic surgery.
Love that.
So neuroscience, I just, a foodie. I'm very picky with my food. I love really good food. That's why fasting is the best system out there. Mom of 4, really important, because I'm also an introvert. I need my recharge time by myself. Yeah. So it's a lot to balance, and kind of a lot that has gone on behind the scenes. I'm now writing a book with Forbes. I am allowed to say that. Yep. It's The Art of Systems. And launched 3 businesses last year, a startup that required a lot of my time. So I was able to do all of this, but it was painful, and there was a lot of failures throughout the history of my career. Yeah. I could tell you, I could just write a book on just my failures. It would be like War and Peace, and you know it.
I love that. And you make a really valid point, right? Well, first of all, the fact that you've been able to do what you've been able to do with 4 kids, being married, doing everything you've done in the real estate industry, and so much more, right? It's not, you're way more than just the real estate industry. And that's what I love too. You're a people person, you're helping people win at a high level, and not just in real estate, but in their personal life, right?
Yes.
And if people can't win in their personal life, they can't win in business, so.
No, they feel like it's 2 separate people. Like a different person is going to show up to your job. No, you have to handle things at home. And I have actually been told I will put on a bold face, but if I really have something personally going on that I'm not addressing, no matter what kind of face I put on, it's going to show up. Yeah. So it really is like the human development industry that we're in. And I love it because it's learning to unlock the potential in all the people that align with us and also ourselves. And we learn sometimes the hard way, sometimes painfully, but we learn out of all of our failures. And the fact that there's this industry where you could make 6, 7, 8 figure. I'm losing it's money that I never thought was possible by doing the right thing, being playing to your strengths, which me is art and science, because I love math. I'm a real estate investor. I bought this house for $850. We're in. It appraised at $950 in December of last year, which was still a crazy market to try to find. It's worth. My neighbor's all selling 1.4, 1.5. Wow. So it's I have a biohacker gym. I've got all the land, no HOA. My mortgage payment's $2,500. I could pull my 38-foot RV out that I pay $1,000 a month out and Airbnb that out probably for $500 a night. A condo I have down the street from my office I bought last year for my mortgage is $2,000. I have done 30-day to 98-day rentals. I rent that out for $7,000 a month from January through August. So I love me a good real estate deal. I
love that.
My oldest daughter bought her house last year.
No way.
She made $125,000 in equity in 1 year. And she is 20. She'll be turning 24. And
that's amazing. That's amazing. I love it. I'm already loving the direction we're headed here. I think that there's just so much value that we can look at and so many things that I can learn from you. And I know for a fact, anybody listening or watching, I'm like you where I want to succeed in every area of life. I don't want to just succeed in business and this and that. I want to be healthy, right? I want to be fit. I want to have a good family environment, good relationships.
Yes.
My mentor told me a long time ago, he said, Austin, in life and in business, you don't have business problems. You have personal problems you bring to the workplace, right? And you just mentioned that right now. So that's incredible. So obviously you've done some really, really, really cool things. We had an opportunity to chat before and, let's go back in time a little bit.
Yes.
How did this all evolve, right? So obviously you've been in real estate for 18 years. Okay. Which is a really long time. And from what you told me back then, you were waiting tables. You were just kind of...
I was hustling. I was going to college. I got straight A's. I was a crammer. But that was always plan B. I always knew I wanted to be my own leader. I worked for so many terrible managers and then some great ones, but I always wanted my own show. I'm a double Aries, Capricorn ascendant for any of the astrology people out there, but I'm a pioneer. That's what Aries sun is, and an Aries moon is a warrior.
Got it.
So I call myself a cockroach. I'm willing to put up with a lot, but people tell me not to say that. But no, I knew it. I saved up all my money. Literally, it was $20, $5. It was I would organize my money and keep it in a little purse in my closet. I was not very smart with my money, but I was pricing out tanning salons. I was thinking that was a good business. I was pricing out salons, thinking about renting out spaces and entrepreneurial spirit, right? I'm a Myers-Briggs ENTP. So I saved up all the money, but my husband had some friends and he's like, well, we could buy a home here for this much money and flip it. And back then we only needed $30,000 spreads, It's so cheap.
Yep.
And we bought 2 houses and both of our mortgages were less than what we rented a house for in Huntington Beach. So my husband's like, get on over here. So I did. I finished up my semester at Long Beach State. And I did not graduate, so I don't have a business degree, thank God, because it was terrible, literally. Calculus 2, I still have PTSD from. Calculus 2, guys, terrible.
Yep.
So, but then, so we moved out here. I literally didn't know what the heck I was doing. So I'm like, how do you have an open house? Okay. How do you door knock? Curtis Johnson was farming me. I was copying his stuff. I was reading, I was Googling. I was spending time on the MLS. I put Craigslist ads out. I'd get 10 hits. I hired an assistant 4 months into the business because I realized I got into the business October of 2003 and I was getting calls on Thanksgiving. I was like, dude, it's freaking Thanksgiving. I'm a hard worker, but bug off. But I realized you have to cater to the consumer. So I'm like, assistant.
Yep.
So, but I, did well. We started to develop, we were developing, my husband were developing a luxury development. I thought I was Donald Trump. I had apartments. I had single family homes. I was thinking I was setting my family up. Right. I thought I was I'm doing the right thing. I'm not just spending money on travel and I'm investing in real estate, doing the right thing. Well, I got the call in 2008. I got lots of calls in 2008.
Yeah.
Lost way more than I even made. Literally was giving birth, saving a short sale. The baby's head was crowning and it's not a joke. It's true. I was saving a short sale, was going to go to foreclosure the next day. I had no assistant. This is 2010. And I had my dad doing a BPO for REO that I just got assigned that was due the next day. And I didn't have an assistant. And I was like, this is no way to live. So I started doing video in 2009 and 10. Mm-hmm. So way before it was a thing. And my husband was doing Google and just getting like organic traffic. We happened to get like contacted by someone that found us on Google that flew me out to California and he loved, thought I was just humble. And I was like hungry, customer first, curious. I'm a good problem solver. But I'm like humble first and grateful. And so I was so grateful. Like every call I got, I was like, namaste,
Yeah.
you know? And so he flew me out, and then we did the trustee sales that year. I got my husband. He was at the trustee sales every day. I was comping, driving homes. They'd be like, I need a value on this house. I'd pull over to the side of the freeway, like, so, rolled with the punches, got into organic, grew my business, got into luxury more in 2013, really started building the team again from like foundationally in 14. So my first hire was a virtual assistant, and I locked myself in a freaking room because it was terribly boring. And I made like screencastifys of everything I hated to do. Yeah. And that was 2014 or 13.
Yep.
And that was like, I was like, literally, that was like my crash course in leverage.
I love it. And so, all of that is very impactful, by the way. You obviously, now you talk about it. It's a part of your story, right? And these are just things that have happened. They're things that have made you who you are. And they're things that have shaped and molded you to be as strong of a person as you are, right? You're an incredibly strong person. You get that energy and that vibration just sitting in the room. I've gotten that multiple times with you. But, for anybody watching and listening, and even myself, you talk about, 2009, 2010 being like really humble. Did that experience in 2008, what did that teach you? Did that, here you are, right? And it feels like the world's crashing down. I can't imagine that at the time that was easy. It
was never easy, but I will say that it doesn't matter where you're at, you will hit the next floor of problems. So 2018, I was very unprofitable. I was working everything that I was taught to do, coached to do. I was trying and doing everything, and I was selling. I could sell. I was outperforming my team. Like, I was trying to train my team. Like, I couldn't be profitable. So it sounded all great. My numbers were good. I had a team. The awards were great. You see my videos. In 2018, I was suicidal, and this would be again. This would have been the third time officially. Official. And I'm open about my story because mental health, especially in this industry I see all the time, is not talked about. We talk about like business, but I talk about mind, body, and spirit because it all ties into it. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have a purpose greater than you, like, everything will seem terrible. Yeah. But when you shift your mindset, and it's truly a mindset of abundance, and to me, like, I have a higher power. I have God, and I have angels and energy, and I pray and I meditate, and sometimes I cry, but I flush out the negative emotions because I'm learning every day. Like, in 2018, I surrendered, and I surrendered to God, and I'm still an addict. I just don't drink alcohol. Yeah. And I have not to this day even had one desire to drink. So I know that God is real and God has connected me. And I made a pact with him that night. And I said, I promise, God, if you, and I was so like, this is it. Like, please help. I can't do this alone. And I said, if you simply remove the desire to drink away, I promise to pay it forward and help others. Wow. I am only beginning to understand how big of an impact that is because I've launched a national coaching company. I have 50 agents on my team. Yeah. I have 200 in my organization and my network. I am now a co-op. So I'm attracting great things, but I still am failing today. There's like problems. I was crying yesterday on the phone call to my coach, but it's the next floor of problems. Got it. And that's what's thing. If you want to grow, it's going to be painful because a lot of it is like inward facing, looking in the mirror. Yep. And sometimes looking in the mirror kind of sucks.
It's not easy. It's not fun. I've been through, a decent amount, in my life, and people watching and listening have. Everybody has their story. Everybody has their thing, right? Their vice, their setback, their childhood, their whatever, and we were talking about Enneagrams and stuff before we sat down, right? And you sent me a chart and I was looking at some stuff, but it's so interesting to see and to hear, right? And I think for everybody watching too, that it seems to me that in those seasons, you're quick to fail forward, right? You're quick to say, hey, listen, I'm not in a good position. I blah, blah, blah. But I've got to figure out a way out of this, right?
And it's the Irish, to the next. Yeah. Dude, it's the Irish. It's called, it's the Enneagram 7 things. It's the Fool. So like, you have to be, the Fool, people think of Fool like it's a bad. And tarot, there's a card, and I'm just learning about tarot, and it's not belief systems aside. You can actually learn a message from this. But the Fool card is not just a bad card. Yeah. It's a good card because Albert Einstein, how many times did he have to be a fool? Yeah. So you have to be a fool in order to win at some point. Because if you're too scared to fail, you'll lose.
Yeah.
Because you have to have that willingness, not just for yourself to fail, but even the people that work for you. You have to allow them to fail, but fail forward and, be a thought leader and think of the big picture. And the bigger you think, the easier it gets. Because the bigger you think, the bigger minds, the best minds, it's the collective intelligence and the collective energy of the people that you surround yourself with the most.
Yeah. I love that. I love that. Just out of curiosity, I have a random thought here, and then I want to switch gears. But you met your husband 24 years ago. Mm-hmm. You guys have been together ever since. You've gone through the valleys together. You've been on the mountaintops together, right? Yes. How much do you attribute when you look at, there's people out there, and everybody's got their own kind of thing, right? And I see a lot of people that, they walk out the door in the morning, their husband goes left and they go right or whatever, right? And they work in different industries. They do their own thing, right? It seems like you guys have always done it together. Do you attribute any of your success to being a team and to really, being on this kind of journey together?
I 1,000,000% say that you cannot do it alone. Anybody that thinks that they can do it alone, or it's like the magic of Johnson's story, the behind the scenes. It takes a tribe. I could not be here without my husband. I could not be here without my kids and the commitments I made, my parents, my mentors. It takes a village. I have now wise counsel, and I could have not done it without the support. And you need the support at home. You need people to believe in you. Yeah. Because sometimes, I'm not going to lie, when you are a leader and the more you grow, it can get lonely at the top. It's like freaking Everest. But when you start surrounding yourself by big thinkers that understand you, and they're like, yes, you're crazy, but I was hiking with a friend, a very, very successful friend in the industry, a few weeks ago. And he's like, Jen, you were so crazy. And he said it so nonchalant and morning hike. So fresh out in the morning. I'm like, but you're really achieving things. So you're proving that you can be crazy and get ahead. And I'm like, you can. I'm like, and I found out his grandpa wrote the screenplay for Old Yeller and Ben-Hur. He's got crazy in his DNA, but you can be your authentic you and do whatever you want. Mm-hmm. If you're willing to do the work, leave by your principles. The 4 agreements, I feel is that just very simple human Bible. Number one is honor. Number one is
you're totally good.
It's honor your commitments. Yep. Number 2 is the 2 and 3 are where I really mess up. It's assumptions, judgment, and take 100% responsibility. Wow. And those are sometimes hard to do. Because sometimes you do make assumptions based on a lot of knowledge, but you have to take 100% responsibility. And then if you do those 3 things by honoring your commitments, not taking things personally, taking 100% responsibility, not making assumptions or judgments, because there's always more behind the scenes going on. And then number 4 is finally just show up and do your best. And that's simple, right? If you could just do those 4 things and you just do your best, you've knocked it out of the park.
You've done a phenomenal job. Yeah. That's incredible. I absolutely love that. And I love, I mean, there's just by the way, guys, there's just if you're getting value out of this, drop in the comments section below. Let us know, what questions do you have for Jen so far? We're going to keep going a little bit longer here, but definitely let us know if you're liking it so far. So let's fast forward now again. So in 2018, you're not profitable. You're not as profitable as you'd like, obviously. You're not profitable enough to where it makes a lot of sense in the current and by the way, you're one of the you're the number 1 female-led team at Remax, okay? At the time,
yes,
right?
Yes.
And so here you are. You're with a huge brokerage. You've had a ton of success, ton of failure too, but a ton of success in business and life, right? And you're finally at this place where the world is looking at you like, wow, she's killing it, right? She's killing the game. I mean, you're on video content. You've been on video for, at that point in time, 7 or 8 years.
Yeah.
At that time, right? And you from afar, you look like you're killing it, and you're internally not happy. You're not satisfied. You're not. There's something missing, right? And you tell the story to me, and that's I can feel that, right? And so. You made a change. You made a change over to the brokerage that we're both with now, right? And you were telling me before and I don't take you as the kind of person, by the way, to just jump ship. I really don't take you as that kind. I mean, you're the opposite of that. I was
not looking to move, by the way. I had 50 listings onboarded. I had 50 escrows, and I had 2 support staff and 3 agents.
Wow.
I was dying. Do you think I was looking to change?
No. the opposite of that, I would imagine,
No.
right?
Yeah. Because I mean, I'm like, if I see it and it makes sense, I can make fast decisions, but I know that's a painful one to make.
Yeah.
And especially when my listing manager is crying in the middle of the morning and I'm getting my assistants crying, leaving the office, like, hey guys, we're going to make a move and we have to rebrand. And I signed my lease, but there was a big reason why. And we, we had a good friend in the business and she was a great person, but she tried to be, I looked at EXP, I knew the math but I was like, no, like I'm looking at like what's going to help my business, not. And then when Kyle Whistle and Dan Beer, two of my mentors who had these like, truly, like I know them, like, so I know that this is real. Like I know the highlights and the lowlights, that they really truly leave this authentic life. Yes, it's hard. I know their problems, but they've always been where I'm at, and they've like been able to excel in their family life. They're better parents, better like husbands, better, like they truly care about their team. Kyle Whistle was always so kind to me when I was like a nobody. Yeah. And that kindness, like he built so much wealth that he probably doesn't even know that he built with me. And so when they made the move, I'm like, oh God, now all right, guys, tell me what's going on. Yeah. And a week later I signed the lease on my space that I have now, and I have my own little space. My lease, now I'm going to be buying, but my lease for my office is like less than what my Remax fees were per month.
Isn't that crazy? So ultimately it ended up being a phenomenal decision, a decision that,
the math was like ridiculous. Yeah. I mean, the math was there, but the number one reason I moved was a collaboration. Yep. I knew I needed help. I was in $40,000 a year coaching programs. I was like, how do I grow? Because I don't want to do the same thing over and over. That's just not my personality type. I love to build. I love to scale. I love to see more and more people win. Yep. And I will never be, I'm not a complacent person. So I'm going to go out learning, trying something new. I'll be like a 130-year-old biohacker old lady starting her astrology business before I will like die. So that's just who I am. And so I saw this platform. I was like, I've never seen a system like this. The math is ridiculous. So the number one was collaboration. Number two was the passive forms of income. And instead of trying to start a candle company or like, let me have like home pottery parties, like, I'm like, I'm already doing real estate. Like what's associated with real estate that I can just inject into my business by doing nothing different? And it turned out to be a very, very profitable, but it was not just about me. I know I cannot get there without a team. Like if we can't transfer our skills and knowledge and our like love and energy into our people and unlock them, we will be a slave to our business forever. Because Austin, I don't know about you, but have you ever been to an agent retirement party?
I've never been.
Because I think around here they call them funerals. So I know I'll figure out a way, but how do I pave the path to like, the third reason is the divorce or the loyal problem. So I take my commitments, like the 4 agreements, very seriously. Like my kids, like if they're not happy, I'm not happy. My husband's not happy, I'm not happy. Like if my team's not happy, I'm not happy. So I'm always trying to find a way for them to be happy. Well, some are going to be loyal and they're not just signing up for you for a year, for salary, for leads. They don't sometimes realize it, but they're signing up for their future with you. Yeah. And I take that I now have something I can like unlock to my admin team. Yeah. So they have a retirement because NAR doesn't give us pensions and we don't want to go to their funerals. I'd rather see them actually have passive forms of income. I have agents on my team that have only been on my team a year and already have 3 or 4 people that they've been able to introduce to our team to help grow their business. It's truly a win, they win, we win. Yeah. We don't win if they don't win. And it's to unlock the potential in them has been the most exciting thing and the most duplicatable, scalable thing I've seen. So anybody can be a master inviter. Sure. Every single one of my agents, every single one of my admin can be a master inviter. And what better way of being like, hey, Austin, do you want to know how to grow your business? We'd love to learn more about you. Right. Do you want to come to this event? We're going to be talking about how to grow your listings. Do you want to ask me anything? Yep. And when you give value, like Gary Vee says, jab, 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 right hook, people want to be a part of that, but they want that energy. They do. They want that people that will believe in them and will make them see things that they couldn't see. And once they rely on you for that and you take your role seriously, you can help either the loyalty to keep and pave wealth's a path for the people that align you with you, whether in your team or your network. Then number 2 is the divorce. Now we all know that like some people don't want to be students forever, just be a teacher. Some agents want to come learn. They're your top dogs. They're your top third, but they want their own show. They have their own vibe. And that's cool. Look, what's wrong with that? Yep. But real estate didn't figure out this model that's been happening for years. And it's like, it's not breaking news that this is a trend. So what happens when now I divorce, like Lisa Lanky, my downline, it's no longer like, oh, my leads, I'm going to sue you. It's like, how can I help you? And I had a happy hour with her last week, and we're going to be going to Tony Robbins together. So it's like, I can still work with her because I love her, and she's like my personal friend, and she is such a badass agent, and like I can help her. So it solves the biggest issues. Plus, I will have to drop in now health insurance.
Right. Oh
and
my gosh.
Like,
which is, by the way, I just turned 26. So I was like, it dawned on me the other day. I was like, oh, I've got options. I just got off my family plan. And I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, huh. And I've got another company. Obviously, we do other forms of investing and stuff. But I got it. So I logged on to EXP. I started dabbling around right on and I'm gonna have insurance, right, which is like a huge thing for me. It's a really, really big deal. So
it's like the simplest things. I had been one of my sideline with EXP is just the culture we have. Parker, I think he sent me 15 referrals this year. Yeah. He calls me. He's like, Jen, you have to do this, man.
Yep.
Called Joe Rosen's, like we got linked up, got it synced. It took literally very little of our time, and Helps Truly is the best insurance company out there.
Yeah.
And like now I have a joint venture in that. I do nothing different.
Yeah.
So it's those scalable tricks that we have within our network that like pat us, that are so simple to implement into our business, like easy actionable items.
They're really easy. I love it. I love all three of the reasons that you mentioned. They're really, when I look at it too, I think I probably internally prior to talking to you would have worded it differently. But when I looked at, I looked at the company for 3 years, Jennifer. I mean, I think me and you, correct me if I'm wrong, I came to your office, it had to have been 2019, maybe?
18.
Was it 18?
Yeah.
Okay. And, I've been looking at the company ever since, and I said no. I went and talked to other people at, other teams with the company, right? And, and one of the biggest reasons that I ended up actually, and I don't even know that I've told you this, but one of the biggest reasons that I came and joined you guys, all three of the reasons, but one of the biggest ones was you guys sell real estate. I saw other teams where they're just focused on, the other part of the business, which is great. Don't get me wrong. But at the end of the day, our product is what we're sitting in right now. Our product is real estate, right? Yeah. So the collaboration's amazing. All that's amazing. And it truly is amazing, right? But I love that you guys sell real estate. I love you do the business. I love that we're here right now. We're talking, we're chatting. The collaboration, right? This is huge. I mean, this is unbelievable. And, I couldn't agree more. We're in an industry right now where the industry is changing. I think it's changing really quickly, and we've got to adapt. Like you said you've been on video for 11 years. You were an early adapter to video. I was, how old was I 11 years ago? I guess I was like 15 years old 11 years ago. So I actually was just getting on video probably like 9 or 10 years ago, but not in the capacity that you were. But, it's just so interesting to see where everything's going. Random question for you. What are your thoughts as to the future of not only EXP, but real estate in general? I mean,
yes.
have you thought at all about that?
Man.
Yeah.
Yes, I do. I got fired by Dave Ramsey last week, and I gave them a speech that I am very proud of. And it was a recorded Zoom. I asked to be sent to Dave personally. And somebody might have happened to share pictures of Dave Ramsey's books that I took a picture of in the trash because he pretty much accused EXP as a target. Why? Because we have the best system out there. Brokerages. So Dave Lineker of Remax made, and I don't remember the exact math. Somebody will have to quote Joe Rogan's guy, fact check me. Yep. But I met with somebody a month ago that was very entrenched in the industry. In 08 and 09, he was making billions of dollars while his agents were literally starving. And I'm really talking about that. You guys literally hungry. Like we couldn't afford food. And Glenn Stanford came up with the concept, he does not win unless we win. How do teams, we know brokerages have been doing a crap job at helping agents build business. No broker has ever helped me build a business. Now they help me, my mentors, they would help me, the past broker was a great salesperson. Great. That's not going to help me build a business that I can go and travel, retire at some point and not go show houses until my hip goes out and, die when the cat eats my face off. So, so the industry is changing, and it's changing it's never at a pace it's never changed before. But when this happens and this disruption happens, it is when the most opportunity exists. We've all heard about like the most millionaires get made in a down market. Now we're not in a down market right now, but we are in a very disruptive market, and we've been dropping a 20 points in demand every month for the past 2 months. So demand has gone way down. Good news is that the lever, I know my market, I know my stats. I'm a dang good real estate agent, and I look at this pulse and these metrics daily. I coach on it. Go to my YouTube channel, market video updates. I've been doing them for so many years because this is like been my life. I can't ever go back to that pain again. But Charles Darwin had a quote that Chris Voss, so I love quotes. Chris Voss put a spin on it this year. So Chris Voss wrote Never Split the Difference, FBI hostage negotiator. He had to negotiate with the crazy. Like we've all had some crazy, but like the crazy. So it's not the most intelligent man, nor the most capable, but the most quickest to adapt that ultimately survive. But with Chris Voss, he said it's not the most intelligent or capable, but the most collaborative man that ultimately survives. Because what happens when we collaborate? What happened if I knew Kyle Whistle in 2008?
Right.
I would have gotten into REO instead of trying to go into commercial, which is what I did. Blip on the radar. It set me back. I would have been in the know with the right tribe. I would have prospered in those years that I struggled. So the collaboration is key. It's collaboration over competition. And if you see the industry, I've seen the most vulturistic things happen I've ever seen. There are hedge funds that will spend hundreds of millions of dollars that will offer agencies crazy unprofitable splits that are only going to be short-lived. At some point, it's going to have to stop because you can only bleed for so long. But it'll be enough of a carrot to gain market share for a bit by not doing the right thing, right? Because that's not scalable. And one thing I will make a promise to my team is to be profitable. Because if I can't be profitable, I don't have certainty for you. I can't teach you certainty if I don't know certainty myself. So it's that collaboration is going to be the most imperative thing in your real estate business. I'm very serious about this because I see bad things happen. I see people taken advantage of. I've taken a $50,000 earnest money deposit from a buyer's agent that didn't know what they were doing. That's happened. Can't tell you how many times that I've seen the worst. I just negotiated a multiple offer situation on my mother-in-law's mom who just passed away's house. Luckily I know how to navigate that stuff. And I also know how to navigate multiple offers and verify that they're actually applicable and know how to read the contract. So the collaboration of how to grow your business, how to do your job, it's something I'm so passionate about. I just launched, we have an intensive. It goes 30 days if you're a new agent, building that muscle memory, the grit, the resilience, the skills of what it takes to really be an agent, not the HGTV lifestyle, the freedom and the happy hours and actually the work and the grind, but doing it with the people that have good energy and support you. But that I offer that as a downline. Austin, if you want to grow your team and you have an agent brand new, send them to our intensive. It is truly a mindset of abundance.
Yeah. I love that. And that's just, so the collaboration thing is just, so I came from a network marketing background, and when people asked me for many years, I did podcasts and I would be interviewed on podcasts and stuff. And people would say, Austin, how did you get to where you're at? And blah, blah, blah. And I'd always go back to, I said, listen, when I was 16 years old, so whatever that would have been, 2012, I guess, I was fortunate enough and blessed to sit in rooms with Tony Robbins and Gary Vaynerchuk and Les Brown and Eric Thomas and Bob Proctor and Linda Proctor and the list goes on. And, the collaboration of that, the energy, the vibrations, the personal growth, the actualization, the self-actualization of sitting there. And, that changed the trajectory. It changed my paradigm. And then it changed the trajectory of my life forever, right? And in a decade's time, almost 9 years, here we are. And it goes back to that. Now, obviously, I got out of that industry. I pursued real estate, and then everything comes full circle, though, right? And now I'm seeing more than ever. It's we really need that collaboration in the real estate industry, just like you mentioned,
in real time. It's moving so fast, and we meet as a team. We have opportunities every single day. You have me on text. We're texting at 10 o'clock at night sometimes. But that I think about all the years I spent $40,000. I spent $1,000 a month. Cha-ching, 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 cha-ching. Was it the marketing collateral I had in the cloud? No, I had my own crap. I took some of that stuff and ripped it off. But was it the conferences I'd go to twice a year? A little more. Was it the friendships I made that I would call and get the support when I needed it?
That's
absolutely.
Everything. Yeah.
And no longer do we have to do the cha-ching, cha-ching, cha-ching. but I still have that support.
Yeah. We're going to Mexico in a couple days. And I mean, just,
a day, like 40 hours.
Not even 36 hours.
I think we're on the same. Until then.
I think we're on the same airplane. Jim sent me the information. So
I love that I'm a faster because I don't have to worry about eating at the airport.
Yep. I love that. So Jennifer, obviously, I really appreciate you for having me in your home. I appreciate you for being on the show, being on the podcast, whatever we're calling the video. And, obviously there's a ton of value, a ton of golden nuggets, that I've learned and that everybody's learned. And I'm very grateful for that. What would be the one thing for somebody that is an agent that has been in the business for 10 years, somebody that maybe just got in the business, or somebody that's looking at the industry and maybe they're getting out of another industry, they're looking to get into real estate. There's a lot of people getting into real estate right now in record numbers from what I'm seeing, whether it be on the retail side or the investing side or whatever, right? What would just your most generic, it could be anything, piece of advice be for somebody?
Be open.
Regardless, be open.
Be open. So we talked about before the podcast about the 7 principles about Leonardo da Vinci. The first one was curiosity, this insane, desire for, curiosity of learning, because when you learn, you can learn to love, you can learn to empathize, you can learn to understand, you can learn to internally look in the mirror and get better. But when you are open, if you're dead set, like you're not going to grow, you're not going to make any changes. You might not even have the awareness of it. But if you stop, and every time I hear like coaching and some new, when I say guru, these are real gurus. They're amazing people I listen to on podcasts and books. And it's meditation. It keeps coming back to meditation. Stop. It's like if you just have like a stop sign, picture that in your brain. Stop. Take a moment. Go outside into nature and be open.
Wow.
Like think about the big picture. What are you really working for? Like, what are you really doing this for? Like, is it like simply to do real estate transactions and that's it? Or is it like, there's always something bigger?
Yeah.
What is it going to do for your family if you were to make some changes and grow? And it's actually not as scary as you think it is. It's going to be a little work slow down to speed up, a little work up front. But when you get to realize that for not just you, but for others that work for you, and then your family, what can you do for your family? Can you help your daughter buy her first house? Can you now take your son-in-law on vacations to Costa Rica? What can it do for the legacy that you leave behind?
Yeah.
Because we're not just raising our children. We're raising our our great-grandchildren, our great-great-grandchildren. I am waiting for my grandchild, literally. Like I want one right now. But it's be open.
Yeah.
And if you are open, you would be amazed at what comes to you.
It's so powerful. It's unbelievably powerful. I almost have the goosebumps right now. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. I really appreciate you guys for tuning in again. Jennifer, thank you so much for being here. And let us know down below. Jennifer's information is all going to be down below. I'm going to link her Instagram, her Facebook, her YouTube, the whole 9 yards. Definitely go shoot her a follow. Subscribe to all of her stuff. Shoot her a message. Let her know that you watched. DM her, okay? And she will reply. She will personally reply. I know she will. She's that type of person. So again, thank you so much for being here. And thank you guys for watching. Really appreciate it.
Well, in the yogi world, we say namaste because namaste is grateful for you, grateful for the audience, grateful for God and the world and everyone in between.
Namaste.
Namaste.